All right, welcome back to another Watch and Score live stream. I'm Jim, your host, and alongside me I've got Alex Big Fish Vega and Josh from 86 Boxing. On the call as usual, fellas. It's been 2 weeks already. That's gone ridiculously quick. Alex, how's it going? How's the last couple of weeks been?
Yeah, man. Good afternoon, good evening to all. Yeah, man. 2 weeks flown by, and we've had a bit of boxing, and we got more boxing on the way. So happy holidays to us boxing fans.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You've had Thanksgiving as well, I think, since the last time we spoke. So happy Thanksgiving that we don't bother with over here in the UK. Josh, are you okay, my friend?
Good to go. Cheers to all. Happy Thanksgiving to all. And celebration day, whatever it may be. But yes, excited and looking forward to some of the matchups we have coming up. And we will, of course, see what is in store for the future. 2023 should be a big year.
Should be, in theory. Let's see what fights get made. We know that we're always disappointed, so let's not get our hopes too high. That's so cynical, isn't it? But that's how we've got to start off with. And speaking of cynical, let's get right ahead into this weekend's boxing action, or last weekend's boxing action as well. We're just going to quickly touch on it since we spoke about it on our last live stream. But we had that incredible cruiserweight title match, I believe. Arsene Goulamirian, he won that by decision, I believe. If you're not too sure what we're talking about, just go ahead and check out the live stream near the end. It was quite good to discuss the ridiculousness of the WBA, I think it was. And also Jaime Munguia got his expected victory over Gaston Cola. I think he won in the third round or fourth round stoppage. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex.
Yeah, in the basketball gym.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So that's those two covered. Nice. This weekend, we'll move straight on to this weekend. There's been 3 decent cards at least for us boxing fans to have a look over. So unfortunately, one of them was quite disappointing in Zach Parker versus John Ryder that ended prematurely by a forced stoppage. Zach Parker, had a hand injury, I think, at the end of the 4th round, so he didn't come out for the 5th. John Ryder then gets the technical decision, or a stoppage, I guess, victory. It puts him in a good position to get a nice bumper payday for future. I'm not too sure what kind of path is on the way down, or which championship belt he might be in store to face off for. Maybe potential Canelo opponent. Joshua, there was some thoughts on John Ryder and what could be expected for 2023.
Yeah, he actually put himself in line with an interim title here, so he's had a good run over the last year, I would say. Beat Danny Jacobs. Now he's sitting in this position. Proof that if you stick to it and keep grinding, good things can happen. I think that's a testament to Zach Ryder as a fighter and his career thus far. So, of course, there's tough sledding anytime you're facing one of the tops of the division. So if he's in there with the likes of a Canelo, it would certainly be a tough fight for him, but it will be a big payday. And I think that he's the type who would continue to go for it and press to the point of whatever happening in the fight, whether that's he stopped or going out on his shield, whatever it may be. That being said, I believe that it's a fight that is going to have to be mandatory. I think it's kind of low risk, low reward for the likes of a Canelo. But that being said, if it's called on or if it's forced, then I guess that's one he would take. And if Canelo wants to fight at a expedient or more have more fights tied to him in 2023, similar to how he did in previous years where he fought maybe 4 times in a year or something of that nature, then I think that's where Ryder would fit in. And of course, a lot of people will be heavily favoring Canelo, but hey, Ryder is game, and I think that as long as as long as he continues to kind of just press forward in the way that he does, then something will pop up, whether that's Canelo, whether that's someone else at 168 who is in the mix. David Morrell or something like that. Who knows? But I think an opportunity will come up, and hopefully he can get a big payday and make the best of it with where he's at in his career.
Yeah, I think he deserves it as well. I've said just before we came onto the stream that Ryder's been the victim, I guess, of quite a few bad poor decisions in, and he always seems to get a bit of bad luck. So maybe he's been a bit fortunate on this time, but he's quite a deserving fighter for a decent payday. He's a nice guy. He's been around for a long time, and he's always going to be the underdog, I think. So fair play to him for keep trying hard and it gets you places, I guess, is the moral there. Alex, did you have anything to add to what Josh just said?
Yeah, so John Ryder, what he won was the interim WBO super middleweight title, which is basically just a mandatory, but probably nice sanction fee, get a little belt out there. I thought the fight was competitive. I was enjoying Parker using movement before. I've seen him implement that, but not make that his main game plan. So he was boxing nicely, and John Ryder was applying the pressure. No one was really landing anything of huge significance. I felt Ryder was landing the harder punches a bit more, but both were just landing single punches, and it was a bit disappointing to see Parker in the corner. It looked like they were asking him to throw more punches with that lead hand, and he was letting them know that it was compromised. But him being a switch hitter, with knowing what's on the line, this is, I'm not trying to be rude, but this is why nobody will remember his name in situations like this. I'm really not trying to harp on it, but this is a moment for greatness, a moment to give yourself a chance to stand out. And I think he said that whole round it felt that way, that it was hurting. But you're a switch hitter. That I guess you don't have many tools, as it was believed. Shout out to John Ryder, like you said, he's a guy that's been in there, has gotten some decisions that didn't go his way. I felt he got a decision to go his way against Danny Jacobs, but he's a guy that comes to fight. We see him not quit. So shout out to Ryder. Canelo, will he pick him? It's up to him. He said he wants a matchup in May to test his wrist before getting in with Bevo again at 175 in September. So John Ryder does seem to be a landing candidate. Canelo does what he wants. He will pick what mandatory he has. People forget he has a mandatory for the IBF, a gentleman named William School, I believe, from Cuba. And then, Benavidez and Plant are locking it in for like this. Benavidez' first defense of an interim title, which means absolutely nothing except you're the mandatory, just like with Ryder. So yeah, let's see what happens. Ryder, came out, was ready for the 5th round, and so move on to best things, I guess. If no Canelo matchup, maybe I believe the gentleman's name is Mark Efron. I believe he's a 168 pounder in the UK. Yeah. So maybe that's a possibility as well. I don't know who he's associated with, but just looking at the rankings, that's who I saw that's in the UK. So yeah, congrats, John Ryder.
Cool. All right, let's move on then. Also in the UK last night was Dillian Whyte versus Jermaine Franklin, unbeaten American. This was a controversial moment. I was watching both of these events at the same time, so I was kind of not fully paying attention to both. But from what I was seeing, Franklin looked like he was winning rounds, he was kind of controlling things. And then looking at our scorecards on Fight Night scores, he's a clear winner on the average. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Alex, we'll start with you. I assume you've watched this. I didn't ask you beforehand, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I was locked in. I actually was looking forward to the Parker Ryder fight. This one I think came on. I was interested in the co-main event with Wardley and Gorman, which Wardley got a knockout. Even though Gorman was doing well, couldn't get the power. But anyways, yeah, to me it seemed that Dillian just was okay with being in Gear 1. He didn't seem to be bothered by anything Franklin was doing, but Franklin was outworking him. I think I had it like, I think the first 6-7 rounds, it was like 5-1, 6-1 Franklin. And it wasn't that Franklin was doing anything particularly special, but he was outworking him. He was countering in the beginning, and then just started applying pressure towards the middle rounds. And Dillian, a lot of credit to his defense. He was kind of using a little bit of like a hybrid shoulder roll or just catching, front punches here, backhand here. But Franklin was just outworking him. He did push really hard towards the end, and looked like he had Franklin hurt towards I think in that last round. But I felt Franklin deserved the victory. I had an 8-4 Franklin. The worst I could see is a draw, but I felt like it was pushing it because it just really Dillian just was not doing enough, especially that first eight rounds of the fight. So to me, it's a robbery. It's extremely controversial, and it's bullshit. AJ was there, Eddie Hearn, obviously. It's his show, and this is the way things go. And I'm tired of saying that, and I don't think it should be accepted. But Franklin, hopefully, he gets another shot. And now they're talking about Dillian and AJ might get another fight in between before they fight each other. So, Jesus Lord, just get in the ring and swing, guys.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Josh, go ahead. Give us your thoughts on this one, mate.
So I was watching it while I was occupied at points, and then I really caught the tail end in more detail. I don't really have anything opposing. I've seen that a lot of people online have been mentioning that they felt that Franklin won the fight, which I think is good for Franklin in the sense that he wasn't a name or a real known commodity in the sport in the heavyweight division, and this probably puts him over a little bit as it relates to his potential for future matchups with some other names that are out there. I could see that happening in a similar fashion to kind of how Charles Martin ran into a title and all of that stuff, even though this isn't necessarily a title one, but how he became a name at the very least. But I will say that for Dillian White, I mean, it definitely doesn't make one think that he's a true threat for title contention, given this showing as well as his showing against Tyson Fury in his previous fight. And I think he's just kind of been one of those interesting places right now. I don't see him picking up a title. Maybe he fights Anthony Joshua since they have a bit of history and that could do well domestically. But outside of that, yeah, I think we're just seeing a guy who is hovering over the top 10 division, but a guy who isn't going to be a title threat, as far as I'm concerned. And eventually, I think he'll become more on the side of who they match some of these younger guys up with, and we'll see how he's able to handle it. But I kind of soured on him in his last showing with Tyson Fury because of the fact that he seemed to not care about the promotion or anything of that nature. And then to go in with a sort of sloppy, lackluster effort, I think that didn't bode well for him. So I've kind of lost any form of sort of, I don't want to say respect, but I've lost kind of that need or want to actually follow him in what he's doing right now because, yeah, he's just in one of those weird spots.
Yeah, I like echo what you guys have said. I feel sorry for Franklin. He's the away fighter and everything's gone against him, and those scores seem puzzling. Alex saying that we could possibly see a draw is quite interesting. I've just got our average scorecard up from our users, and they have it clearly to Franklin by 10 rounds to 2. Alex, you said you had it 8-4. Really, it does seem impossible to see how you could get it any closer, really. And as you say, AJ was in the attendance. They've been trying to make that rematch for years anyway, and it just seems that was going to be the outcome of that fight last night, unless there was obviously a stoppage where it couldn't possibly have been fixed in a way, I guess. So it is unfortunate for Franklin, but he's put himself out there now as a name in the division at least, and he's definitely got ability. We got some comments in the chat here saying that White has always been a domestic level guy, as the Brits would say, and I've kind of mentioned in the past where I've never really been too high on on White, and maybe he's a little bit better than a domestic level, but I don't think the heavyweight scene has been that stacked with talent anyway, even on the global scale. So, he's got up there. He was probably the fourth or fifth heavyweight out there at one point a few years ago. But to me, he was always the guy that AJ beat years ago, and there was always pushing to try and get that rematch eventually. And now it's going to come to fruition. Feel sorry for Franklin. He should get a rematch really next, if we're being honest. And we'd all love to see Wilder versus AJ as the next fight. And I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet from Wilder saying as such, potentially earlier on. I'm not too sure if that's me making things up though. So yeah, it wasn't a great decision. And ahead of that decision, I kind of tweeted out there saying, I think it was at the end, during the 11th round, saying, if this goes the full distance, all eyes are on UK judging once again. And then, as it came to be, a lot of people were saying, I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. And there was lots of tweets around that kind of same kind of thing. So that kind of tells you all that you need to know about the state of UK judging and officiating, unfortunately. But we move on. Hopefully Franklin gets another chance in the future. He seemed like he was a nice guy in his interview afterwards. I've not seen press conferences, but he seemed calm. He wasn't dead angered and annoyed. He did just say that I felt I was robbed. Calmly explained it, and yeah, hopefully he gets another chance along the way and we see him again in some good fights. I know you touched on earlier the undercard that there was Fabio Wardley and Nathan Gorman. That was one that I was looking forward to as well. Turned into a bit of a firefight, really, didn't it? And then Fabio Wardley managed to get Gorman out of there after a couple of knockdowns. Alex, give us your verdict on that one, Fabio Wardley as well.
Yeah, I felt like Gorman was the better technician in there. It looked like his jab was a lot better, and he was landing a really nice right uppercut. But Wardley, this big puncher, he showed it. Gorman tried to get up. Well, he did get up, 3 times? He got dropped, got up. But I'm not upset with the stoppage. It just felt like it was in the inevitable. And Gorman, tough, but probably too tough for his own well-being. We don't want to see anybody stretchered out. I mean, I guess we do, but then again, it's like, come on. Maybe if it was like the second knockdown, and, he gets slept, but like you've been dropped 3 times. The inevitable is going to happen. So Wardley, where does he go from here? I don't know. Who else is there out there in that, that he can beat to keep building them up? It'll be interesting how they move him. Because he's not ready for like a Dillian White, I don't think. So yeah, I have to look at the landscape. But yeah, so he's exciting because he's getting knockouts. But I'm not impressed with him at all. There's nothing impressive besides the power.
Okay, Josh, what about you? What do you think of Wardley? I think you might have said that you followed him a little bit.
Exciting fight. I think he showed some adversity there because he was looking a little shaky at first with Gorman, using his technique to really tap up Wardley, and I wanted to see how he was going to perform when tested, and I think he was certainly tested in this fight. He got his nose busted. It might have been cut on the nose as well. I know it was bleeding, but I do like the grit that he showed because in some other fighters, when they're cut, that seems to bother them very much, and they're picking at it, and you can just tell and see the shift in their whole demeanor in a fight. But with Wardley, he's decided to battle back, fight fire with fire, and I love to see him digging in like that. So this was his first legitimate test, so it's always a question of how someone is going to look, and hey, props to Gorman as well for taking this fight and really bringing it to Wardley, because I thought that he had his moments as well, but Wardley's power showed. And when they had those exchanges, you could just tell that what Wardley was landing was getting the better of Gorman, who was game throughout. But I do like what I saw from Wardley in the sense that he shows that he does have some of that makeup inside of him, that if it comes down to just throwing it all on the line. He seems to be willing to do so, and he threw out some very good combinations that he was landing and started to basically chop Gorman down with that right hand of his. Uh, much like Alex mentioned, he seems to just be pretty solid just from an all around standpoint. His power is probably his strong suit. He's got a little bit of, I guess, speed in his punches by comparison to some other guys. So it'll be interesting. It is a very, very interesting spot as far as where he goes next, because Gorman was a step up, and from here, I mean, it's going to have to be a guy who can really test him. I would like to say someone who probably is going to move a bit more and force him to truly box it and see how he looks boxing with someone at sort of that top level. And who that is, I don't know. Maybe a Martin McCauley or something out of Africa. Maybe him. Maybe there's some other guys out there. I don't know, but
it's quite a big step up, that one, isn't it?
That's probably where he's at, because you can't go down from here, I'd imagine, with the Gorman fight. You can't go down from here, so you're gonna have to get someone who really tests him.
Just looking along the BoxRec British heavyweight rankings, and Fabio Waller's at number 7. Everyone above him you probably want to stay away from. So you got Daniel Dubois, Chisora, White, Joyce, and then Joshua and Fiore. Below that, you got David Allen, who I thought he'd retired at some point, but maybe that's a fight that they put him in with. Should blast him out.
David Allen would be a good one. I think that's a guy with a lot of experience that Wardley would probably be favored to beat. So him, and it's just a matter of where they go from here, but they're definitely going to have to keep him sort of in that right range, because you don't want him to get too comfortable, but you also want him to continue to grow. And it'll be interesting for Wardley, but I did like what I saw last night, and it was an exciting fight. Probably one of the more exciting fights on the night outside of another card we're going to speak on.
Yeah. This was actually one of the ones, I tweet this out most weekends, where I call it the boxing mismatch watch. And I go down the odds on oddschecker.com, and I just see the ones that are relatively close, roundabout of 3-1 where the underdog is, or less. And you usually get like a couple for each weekend out of 20 odd fights. It's quite ridiculous. This was one of them that was quite close. But anyway, Fabio Wardley, want to keep an eye out for, like I say, his position at the moment is kind of at the top of the kind of domestic scene heavyweight wise, but then there's a lot of Euros fighters out there that he could maybe go in with. And Jim, I just want to add, I do want to see at some point down the road Wardley against Daniel Dubois. Because I feel like despite Dubois having that belt, he's still pretty much the same fighter he was when he faced Joe Joyce. Yeah. And of course, Joe Joyce has a level of power and a crazy chin, and that helped him. I mean, he basically was jabbing all night. But that being said, Dubois, I like to see him in with someone else who's going to actually challenge him, because he has managed to pick up a title, deserving or not, but he's certainly someone I feel could be vulnerable where he matched up with a guy who is on that sort of top elite type level, and we'll see if Wardley gets there in the future. Yeah, definitely one to keep an eye out for. Some interesting fights to be made there. All right, let's move things along then. The last fight from last night over in the States was Zepeda versus Prograis. A great win for Prograis. I know you two boys picked him to win that one when we discussed it last time, and I was kind of edging towards Zepeda, which didn't turn out to be very successful in terms of a boxing pick. But yeah, good performance. I thought that Zepeda won the first round, but everything after that, Prograis just grew into the fight, and he just overwhelmed him, didn't he, really? Josh, do you want to kick off on this one? Let us know what you think.
Well, yes, the Rougarou was back in town. Shout outs to Regis Prograis and Jose Zepeda as well. I like both of these guys. I actually tweeted that. Yeah. Unfortunately, someone had to lose, but I wanted to see both of these guys win in actuality. But I've had the luxury of seeing Prograis live as well. Exciting fighter. knows how to put on a show. I was disappointed in the fact that none of these major networks picked up this fight. Seemingly, it's like, come on, this is a disservice. I knew this was going to turn into a very well-rounded, a very high-level matchup, and that's what it was. And it was exciting throughout. We got to see Regis Prograde with his head movement, his offensive style, pressing forward, bringing it to Jose Zepeda, who fired back with his shots. As mentioned, I think Jose is definitely a top level counterpuncher, but when he needs to mix it up, he'll throw shots in there and he'll lead where it's applicable. So Regis Prograde, I thought he showed that he's still one of the top level guys that is out there. He's still hungry. I think that's the thing that stands out. He is a hungry fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't gotten that bag in the way that he probably feels, and he's not giving up. He hasn't settled down yet. This is a guy who was in, he of course lost his home in Katrina, and he lost the home in the floods in Houston some years back. So this is a guy that is still hungry. He hasn't let his foot off the gas, and it's a travesty that, and it may be a promotional thing, that we don't have this on one of the major networks. This was an excellent fight, so hopefully this opens some eyes and we get to see Regis back in the mix there with some of the other top guys and get him on one of these high-level cards to headline, because he brings it every time. Anytime I've seen him, he hasn't let me down in a fight. Same with Zepeda. I think that he's the type of guy who can bounce back from this. He's gone through some adversity before, and I don't think he's done yet. He just ran into Regis, who's still hungry and looking to secure that bag. So shout outs to both of them. They put on a great fight that I think that more fans definitely should check out if they haven't, and hopefully we get to see both of these guys in near term.
Yeah, most definitely. Alex, you want to add your thoughts to that one on Regis Prograde and Zepeda?
Yeah, I believe I had said, when it comes to the junior welterweights, I don't think there's anyone that's really sticking out so much. One way for you to do that is to fight someone else that they say is on your level and to prove otherwise. And I think that is what Regis did. Josh hit on it, the head movement. That guy's head was like rarely ever on the line. As the fight went on, his jab started landing more. And Zepeda was lost. He couldn't deal with all that movement. He couldn't figure out when Regis was going to land, going to throw. So, there was a couple of times where Zepeda was landing a counter jab, and as the fight went on, he got more confused and more, his confidence was just sapping, and he just got the stoppage. That is a huge statement. So it's funny. I don't think I've spoken too much on this, but I'm not a huge fan of box rec ratings when it comes to the division and such. And now Regis is number one.
I noticed that. I noticed that before.
You know what I'm saying? So it's funny, but Regis is the hot guy right now. He's supposed to face Jose Ramirez, who was actually due for this shot instead of Regis. But Ramirez is getting married, so he decided not to take the fight. So, I rather see the winner of Teofimo Sandor Martin, because that is also supposed to be a second mandatory, which I think is a little weird. Maybe I just don't pay attention enough to see how that mandatory works. I know with a vacant, it's supposed to be you defend against a mandatory after you win the vacant, but I'm unaware of this second mandatory. But I think that's more sexier, and I think it's more interesting. Sandor had the win over Mikey Garcia, 1-2 years ago.
Yeah.
Teofimo, former unified / franchise, wherever the hell that is, champion at 135, trying to make noise at 140. So, Regis is now becoming the man at 140, and there's a lot of players there, so a lot of great matchups, and hopefully, regardless of promotional ties and whatnot, that we continue to have great matchups, such as this Regis versus Zepeda.
Yeah, I think Progress has been out in the wilderness, hasn't he, for the last couple of years, essentially, after that Josh Taylor fight. So he's probably sprung back up with that win. And there's some really good fights for him there. If he fights Zepeda, then Ramirez, then Teo, and then gets a Josh Taylor rematch, and he wins all of them, imagine that. That'd be incredible. That'd be some going. I mean, he might take a few losses if he does meet those guys. But if they can all face off against each other, some really interesting fights out there at 140. So yeah, really intrigued to see the future. And I do like Zepeda as well. So hopefully he gets some decent fights as well in the near future. All right, we won't go into the undercard of that one. We've already spent quite a bit of time covering the events. Let's get into our watch and score session. We haven't touched on those undercard fights really either. So we'll look ahead to some of the upcoming fights after we've watched our fight that we're covering now. So stay around for that. Alex, hopefully you've got an introduction for us, man. I'm looking forward to this. This is one of my favourite trilogy, I think, out there. But this is, this is going to be great. It's going to be difficult to score, but it's going to be good.
No, most definitely. So, yeah, we got Erik Morales versus Marco Antonio Barrera 2. Let's start with the quote-unquote challenger, the babyface assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera, coming in at 28 years old from Mexico City, Mexico, standing 5'6", 5'7"-ish, 70-inch reach, coming in at 54-3 with 39 stoppages. He's a 3-time WBO junior featherweight champion. Coming in 11-3 with 7 KOs against world titleist. Coming in also by the ring, pound for pound number 4 fighter in the world. The first fight was a loss against Morales, according to the judges. I disagreed. But he's 5-0 with 3 KOs since that disputed loss. Now we're going to the WBC featherweight champion, Erik El Terrible Morales, 25 years old from Tijuana, Mexico, standing 5'8"-ish with 72-inch reach, 41-0 with 20 KOs. He's the former WBC and WBO super bantamweight champion, coming unified against Marco Antonio Barrera. And he's 10-0 with 5 KOs against world titleist. Ranked number 10 by the ring, pound for pound, which is interesting. He had the win, but is ranked lower. So, yeah.
Oh, good. Great stuff. Thanks for that intro, Alex. So, if you are new to the stream, you can join in with us and score this fight. I have just linked up the URL in the chat, so you can create a scorecard there. It's also in the video description. If you want to be part of our scoring group, you need to be a registered user of Fight Night Scores, and you will need to join the group using the code which has been on screen the whole time we've been watching. The code is FSYT22. There's a box to enter that into, and then you'll be into our scoring group, and you'll be able to see our scorecards, the average scorecard, the combined scorecard, the round by round analytics, and all that shit. Good shit. So let's get into it. We are straight into the action. I'll get the fight on the screen. Josh and Alex, I think you should be able to see it in our chat. And I will put the volume down. In fact, there's a little volume. Let me know if it's too loud for you boys, but there's not much volume on my end.
We are good.
Good to go.
Good stuff. Scorecards are ready. I've got a very low battery on my phone, but we'll get through it.
Here we go.
All right.
This fight was June 22nd, 2002 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. And like I said, it's for Morales' WBC featherweight title. Actually, Barrera is coming in as the lineal featherweight champion for his win over Prince Hassim Ahmed. And also it's for the vacant featherweight title by the ring. We're already off to a slower start than that first fight.
Just came out windmilling, didn't they? If memory serves me right.
Shout out to Ken in the chat. Appreciate him stopping by.
Yeah, welcome on board. It's good to have.
Can it be from it?
Can it be from it? Yeah. Good to have some new names in the chat. Welcome on board.
Welcome. The beauty of this matchup is this is two guys who did not like each other, so everything has a bit of extra spice on it.
Oh, that's a nice combination there. from Barrera. We covered this in February, the first fight. Sorry, it was not us. It was myself and Kaiser Koba, who sometimes appears in the chat every now and again. And he alluded to the fact that there was a big rivalry between these two. One was from a poor background, one was from a kind of middle class family and that kind of thing. And it was a proper rivalry. They didn't like each other.
Yeah, two rival cities, Mexico City and Tijuana. Mexico City is the big city on the mainland. Tijuana is the big city over there in Baja California.
Mm-hmm.
My stepfather, he's from Mexico City. And
Okay.
he would tell me, there would be stories of people going to Tijuana and there's banners up saying, crazy things. Like he said one time someone told him, it said, kill all people from Mexico City, which I'm wondering if he just said that to scare me, but I don't know. Because he used to bring me over to people's houses to watch the Morales versus Barrera, all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
You see, Morales is definitely the better boxer. He just seems way more comfortable, wherever the fight may go, controlling that distance. But, we saw in that first fight, Barrera, man, when he comes forward, he's throwing hard, mean punches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of these guys have fan-friendly styles, This is a treat to be able to watch these two competitors.
Already towards the end of this round, what we're thinking here, it's been a bit cagey.
It looks like Morales is just controlling him with that jab. He's been, in the beginning, he was stepping back a little bit, but, now he's pressing forward, just pushing him back. Don't forget the score, guys.
Interesting.
Oh, yes.
I quite like some of Barrera's earlier work in that round.
You're right. That is interesting.
Josh is staying quiet. He's not giving anything away. Being a proper official.
Good one.
This fight, it was promoted by Bob Arum. And this was put on pay-per-view because of the success of the first one. They actually did 300,000 pay-per-view buys, which nowadays would be like amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Especially when you have smaller fighters who are headlining, but they typically put on some of the best fights.
There you go, Lederman.
And Morales just looks so comfortable. Looks like he's a little more control of the range.
He's probably surprised. Probably thinking like the last fight, it's going to be all action. But it's been a bit of a slower start, hasn't it?
You see Barrera, man. He's throwing that jab and he's nowhere near close to Morales' body.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Morales' jab placement. It reminds me of Lennox Lewis. Who was he talking to outside? I think it was Deontay Wilder, and he was talking about keeping that front hand out in front to go ahead and land a nice solid jab. See, keeping that right hand, staying on the phone, jab in front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, I think this slower pace is definitely advantageous to Morales, isn't it?
Yeah, he's more the technician.
Technician, yeah, like you said.
Yep, he's working well. Of course, he has a penchant for getting into a firefight, but he's kind of controlling the middle of the ring right now, which is a plus for him.
A couple of nice body shots Morales has landed last 30 seconds. He's cut on that nose. Barrera's letting Morales be too much the boss right now.
Mm-hmm.
He landed nice there, but the only bit of success of the round so far. Oh.
Look at that, man. I mean, like I said, just controlling the range.
Yeah. He's on the front foot. He's stalking. Yeah, it's a decent round for Morales.
Yeah. His fight right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, he needs to double jab because just standing there in range, looking to counter with right hands is just not leading to much success. He's had more success just trying to leap with a hook sometimes than just sitting back. You know, I watched the first fight for the first time in so many years yesterday in preparation for this, and I mean, man, there was so many rounds. I was like, round of the year, round of the year, round of the year. Like, holy smokes! So it's interesting how the pace of this fight is just completely
Totally different, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not think that Barrera was even close to winning that round.
No. I gave
Typical Letterman.
I said I liked Barrera's early work in the first, but I still gave it to Morales. If there was a round for Barrera, it would have been that first one. But
you know, that first fight was a split decision win for Morales, which I scored 8-4 Barrera, and he had a knockdown in 12 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the ring fight of the year, and round 5 was round of the year. So
okay.
I'm sure this was highly anticipated, and you know, hopefully as the fight goes, we're going to get some crazy exchanges. Right down the middle.
I'm gonna look up my scorecard from that live stream. I'll do it after this round. That's a nice uppercut then.
Oh, nice uppercut.
How long was it between the first and the second fight, Alex? Did you mention that?
It is a year and 16 months.
Oh, okay.
No, apologies. 2 years and 4 months. The first fight was February 19, 2000. This is 2002.
Mm-hmm.
All right, a couple of years then.
They both had 5 fights in between. Morales, actually, he had fought a gentleman from Korea and won a unanimous decision, but was seen as very unimpressive. So Barrera was the hotter one with his win over Ahmed.
Okay.
And people felt Barrera won the first fight. So Barrera was the favorite, even though Morales had the, you know, quote unquote victory, technically the victory in the first fight. Look at that counter. And Barrera, have we seen him double jab like his corner called?
Don't recall seeing it. And Morales, he'll reach at times, so he can be hit. He's open when he does that. It's a matter of it may be kind of dialing in.
Yeah.
Head clash.
Oop, sorry about that. Brief pause.
It was a bit of a quiet round there. And jab him. And remember to jab. Hey, remember I told you to jab? Well, jab, okay?
Yeah, so I just
Interesting fact, Barrera's actually left-handed.
Yeah,
okay.
ambidextrous fighter there.
Wow. Like I said, that first fight's so fresh. And yeah, it's true. Morales was landing so many punches, but Barrera was just hurting Morales. You could tell, and it's just so different in this fight. They're saying Barrera's landing more, but Morales is just landing the cleaner work, more effective.
Yeah, I just found my card for that first fight, and I had Barrera by clear, 8 rounds to 3, 117, 111.
Okay.
With that, obviously that knockdown in the last.
Okay, David Hay. I'm surprised you didn't do more even rounds. Did you guys see that last night? With those 3 even rounds on David Hay's scorecard?
Yeah, I didn't notice at the time, but I saw it on Twitter. People going crazy about it.
That's crazy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, there you go, even round. I mean, it was
Larry.
close. You said it was close. Nothing happened.
What round was that? 1?
Yeah, maybe.
It must have been 3 because you said that was a bit quite a round.
Yeah, which is weird for Barrera, the aggressive fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, he's circling to Morales' backhand, showing that respect for their jab.
Yeah.
Trying to counter, isn't he? But he's not as good a boxer, so it's not making sense. You just need to go in and
Yeah.
hit him
More
in the
of a
face.
story of more of a story of what Barrera isn't doing right now.
Yeah.
Morales is still trying to push the pace as it was when he first started. So
Little counter, right?
maybe the game plan for Morales or for Barrera is to conserve some of his energy in these early rounds and then start to fire off in the back half of the fight.
Which is weird because, I mean, Morales was throwing so many punches that first fight.
Yeah.
Did he land that back heel at left hand?
It's hard to tell.
Might have been glancing.
Yeah. That was the first time I seen Barrera really sit on something. Yeah, I mean, if I bought tickets for this, knowing how the first fight was, I'd be a little disappointed right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's 4 rounds gone. Let's have a pause. We'll have a quick look. Right, let's just pause it there. And let's have a look here. And I don't know which my window I need to choose. That one. There you go. Alright, we've all got the same score, which is nice. So it's 4-0, isn't it? It's 4-0 to Barrera. Maybe there's an even round or a Barrera round there for 3-1, but we can't see it. I'm going to compare your 2 cards just to see. Nice bit of colour there. So you're all similar. Controlled the action 10-9. Controlled the action again 10-9. And then you've got the exact same scorecard for round 3. Controlled the action. And the same percentages as well. And the last round you had the same score and the same percentage, but a different reason. And Alex is adding additional comments. Thank you.
Did I?
Yeah, on round 2. Josh did. Josh has been adding comments, so he's utilising the system to its full greatness. Thanks. Let's move things along. So hopefully, fights start breaking out soon, and there's going to be difficult rounds to score. Or differences of opinion. I think it's safe to say through 4 rounds, Morales is in control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been really the matador in the center of the ring for this early part. Certainly a strategic shift in terms of Barrera's strategy for this fight compared to the first.
Still so tactical.
Yeah, just Barrera waiting.
Yeah.
Backing up.
It does seem like Morales is kind of ready for a fight. But Barrera's just not engaging, is he? And it's not working for him.
And we do know if Morales is hurt, then he's going to fire back. And we're going to see some sustained exchanges.
Yeah, like you said, man, Morales is trying, man.
Yeah.
Even to his detriment at this point.
There we go. Getting closer. This is still a Morales round for me. Forcing the action, if nothing else.
This is kind of like the Dillian White fight. I mean, just not doing nothing.
Yeah, maybe that is a mentality.
Nice little body shot.
Here we go. Oh, we thought it was the end of the round.
Ooh.
Thought he heard the bell.
Yeah. Now Barrera's going for it.
Hey, whoa.
There we go.
Welcome back.
Looking for. That's what Morales has been looking for right there. He's getting it. Good sequence there.
Well, a fight breaks out at last. I still think it was a Morales round. That was too late.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that sets the tone for the second half.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, like you said, more of the same though. Yeah, hopefully we get these guys' juices flowing. Punch each other's sweat off. I don't know if harder.
The referee was pretty quick there to warn him. It's not the end of the round. You're going to get knocked out. Get off that apron. Yeah, Barrera's coming forward a bit more now.
Yeah.
Yep, not backing up anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Thank the boxing gods.
This is going to get us the fight that we want to see here.
You see, now the jab's starting to come. There you go. Hey, welcome to the fight, Barrera.
Like Josh was saying before, conserving energy. It's like he's only just starting now. It's only 6 rounds. Oh, nice uppercut there.
That was a nice counter left.
What was that low?
Morales,
Yeah, it was a little low.
yeah, a little bit. Morales is still working from the jab, so he hasn't broken stride as of yet.
Yeah, but you see, Barrera's every time Morales throws that right to the body, he's countering with that left, catching him leaning. He's done it like 2-3 times this round.
Yeah, maybe Morales continue doing what was, giving him success in them first rounds.
Nice jab there from Barrera.
Excuse me. Okay.
Got him.
All right. You like to see Barrera throw a little bit more while he's coming in. Kind of setting himself up for a counter hook. Oh, or right hand. How about that? You see, Barrera should be jabbing. You was gonna say close round.
Yeah, it's been better by Barrera, but was it a winning round for him? He might have edged it.
Best round for Barrera so far. Close round, though, regardless.
Man.
Could it be that the tide is shifting? Shout out to the interpreter giving us all the action.
He took that instruction literally. Tell us what they say.
I can agree with that. What Larry's saying here. Of course, if Barrera keeps pressing it in this way, he's certainly going to force Morales to back away from his sort of box jab from the outside style. And it will turn into a firefight, which will favor Barrera.
He's back on the front foot again there. There you go, Lederman's giving Barrera another round.
Barrera is no longer hanging around by the ropes at this point. He's meeting them where the fight is at, there in the middle of the ring.
Still cagey, isn't it? Oh,
There we
nice shot, Barrera.
Against the ropes is certainly the place that Morales doesn't want to be. So he needs to take this thing back to the middle.
Still has some success though, doesn't he? He still catches Barrera when he comes in, but he just takes some as well.
Oh, hey.
Oh, it's a slip.
Huh. Okay.
Oh no, you're not gonna call that? You're not gonna call
That-
that Jay Nady?
That looked like a, fall from a punch.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see a slip there, but could be wrong.
That spurred him on a bit.
All right.
Little butt pat there. Morales' corner said they don't like him backing up, but I think he's been fighting fine. Regardless if he's going forward or backwards, it's Barrera who's been having trouble backing up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Good stuff from both of them. I feel like that was a close round.
Yeah, it was.
Right there. Which we're gonna get a lot of.
Oh. He blocked it.
His foot did kind of slip.
Yeah, that was legit.
I feel like he blocked that punch and then he fell down. Yeah, that was weird.
The foot did slip off.
Hey,
And then,
it doesn't matter if they blocked it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's your opinion, George.
But I would say, while the fight was happening, I thought it was a knockdown, that it should be counted.
yeah.
Morales is funny, man.
All right, now we're seeing more of Morales backing up with those hands pretty low.
Some nice jab work going on there.
But nice jab work right there. I like that he hasn't abandoned that.
Yeah, stalking him. Morales isn't doing anything. Oh, that was a nice shot.
Nice. Certainly the mental aspect comes into play, especially as you get in that back half. We're seeing Morales be a little bit more looser, but that's not necessarily for his benefit defensively. But he's doing good right now. Yeah, I'd say that's more of a kind of throw or whatever.
I think Morales just jumped, didn't he? Took a tumble.
I feel like this fight, this round's still up in the air. Ooh,
Caught him.
you heard that punch land? Jeez.
Might be the best shot of the fight so far. Oof.
Let's go. Let's turn this thing into a fight.
Okay, we will take a pause momentarily.
Yeah. I will say that you can definitely see sort of some of the changes that have gone into place. We're kind of calling it now with MAB really kind of controlling from the middle, and Morales just a little bit more sloppier here in this last round.
Okay,
But
let's.
these two are certainly warriors in the ring, so they're not going to want to give an edge, which is a treat for the fans.
Okay, we've got some. Oh, different scores. We've got 3 different scores. This is interesting. So Alex has got it 73-79, so he's given 1 round to Barrera by the looks of it. Josh has got 1 more round, so 74-78, and I've got another round than that, 75-77. So let's have a look at mine and Alex's to see where we're differing. So the first 4 was clear. So here we go. A bit of red on there. So round 6 I gave to Barrera, you gave to Morales. Close round, but Morales edges it with control and jabs. Well, I disagree, Alex. But I can't remember it. I didn't write a comment. Round 7, again, I gave it again to Barrera. In fact, I give the last 3 to Barrera on the front foot, landing effective shots. And then the last round, we both got that exact same, so the significant punch at the end. Nothing significant happened except Barrera landed a hard shot on Morales on the ropes. Nicely put. You were right on that one, but not the previous one. Okay.
School's in session.
School's in session indeed. Perfect. Let's continue. In fact, while we're on there, let's just go back. While they're still in the corner. Just have a quick look at the combined. So all 3 of our scores combined has it 6-2. Sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah, close fight.
Sweet. Let's continue. This is more like it for Barrera. Come forward.
Morales' defense is waning now, but he's still firing back with some nice straight punches. Certainly, Barrera is like a heat-seeking missile right now.
Like I said, Barrera's left-handed. That left hand's been landing on Morales every now and then. Yeah, Barrera's just pushing forward and landing hard shots. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's no longer favoring a particular side. He's just basically cutting them off and coming straight in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair assessment, I guess.
I would agree with it, yeah.
It's not exactly slugfest, but yeah, it's getting towards it.
Oh, yeah, excluding that.
But here we go.
Yeah, certainly. Through the early part, we weren't seeing Morales backing up and against the ropes as much. But now, there's no question who is leading the offensive charge at this point.
Mm-hmm. But then every time he lets off a bit, Barrera, it just doesn't suit him.
Look at that tenacity from Morales.
Yes, that's nice
Just
work
doesn't
there.
give in.
Nice right hand.
But it's crazy to see Barrera. He's just subtle, small step, and he's cutting the ring off at every point. It doesn't take much movement. Kind of dialed in, like it's similar to how Joe Louis used to do it.
Just a big Barrera round.
Just slight steps to cut their man off and control that action and control the ring. Good stuff from Barrera for sure.
Just want to say, man, this USA judges look so good on me. Wow, that means money on Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Canada, man, go ahead and make that bet. USA over Iran.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Co-sign that. Make that bet, man. The right eye taking some damage there for Morales.
Looking a bit of a mess.
Barrera looks to be in his groove.
Absolutely. And it's just not trying to do anything cute. Just pushing forward, throwing punches.
Yeah.
Close.
I don't know what it was. Morales looked hilarious, whatever that little thing was he just did. Shifting the weight. Morales just, yeah, he got his second win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's looking busted up, isn't he, Morales?
Yeah. Morales showing here that he hasn't fully abandoned his game plan.
This is definitely the pace Morales likes.
Yeah, that's a nice body shot in there.
line.
I don't know if I almost went down. It's just bad footwork.
Last 30 seconds, what we're thinking here, boys? This has been better for Morales, I think.
Yeah, Morales has looked well. Like he definitely caught that second win, as Vega mentioned, and this is what he needs to do if he's going to win this fight.
Barrera's looking real slow to me.
Yeah, he's got back to boxing. Morales more effective there.
Yeah, Barrera wasn't throwing much, so definitely not a Barrera round there. So pretty much solidifies the fact in some sense that he needs to close this out, winning all of the rest of the rounds, I would say.
I've got it pretty close. But yeah.
My scorecard, man. Barrera's getting a couple knockdowns to make this even.
Yeah, I've got 2 difference, so yeah, Barrera needs these last 2 for a draw on mine.
Yeah, we need something special from him here in these last, 3 rounds, maybe?
Interesting on those punch stats, man. Because definitely felt like Barrera turned it up after round 6, I think, and he's being outlanded. That's why we don't go off of punch stats.
Mm-hmm.
Only when we want to, right? When we find fit. With Morales' right eye closing, I mean, I think just make it a jab fest. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jab your way to victory.
Yeah. Barrera back on his jab game.
Never saw that double jab that his corner asked for. You can definitely tell Morales is a little bothered. He's probably just a little more tired than Barrera.
Yeah.
Barrera's just doing whatever he can right now, which is what we want to see. That's what he needs. Morales is just like, come on, ref. Face busted up, a little tired, fighting with peeing blood. Help me out.
Yeah, he just needs to just throw everything at it now, Barrera, doesn't he? All of that conserving energy in the first half of the fight, he needs to take advantage of that.
I see you, Boz. That's funny.
Hello, Boz. Welcome on board. Good to have you, even though you're late. We'll let you off. This one's.
He probably chose the World Cup over us. Watch Croatia beat Canada.
Mm.
That was low. La cabeza. Yeah, I would say this is a Barrera round. I mean, he was landing some good punches, in the first half, and he's just applying the pressure. And you can see Morales is uncomfortable.
Yeah. He's trying to force the fight, and Morales is. Yeah, he's just trying to get away.
Yeah.
Certainly not a good time with him now backing up with his hands down. He's done that a couple of times when he looked pretty tired.
You've been calling it. See, this is the stuff I can't stand. Like, how was that tough? I mean, Morales did have a couple flurries, but okay. Canada should stick to hockey. You know, it's funny. Canada was seen as I think they finished like top of the CONCACAF qualifying. So, and they were winning that game 1-0. Just a little side note.
What score was that? I saw that they were
4 to
winning.
1.
Sorry?
It was 4 to 1.
4-1.
Canada was
Wow.
winning. Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah, I saw they were winning as we came onto the stream. 4-1, nice. Croatia are a decent team, so.
I like that urgency from Barrera's corner. Absolutely right.
Yeah, I agree.
And especially, it's like, yo, you were robbed. Like, let's go. All gas.
Yeah, they were fired up.
If you said the first fight hurt you, losing it will show me. Morales said, "No, I don't want to fight."
Yeah, you see that urgency from Barrera. He knows the stakes. Sure.
Oh yeah, man. He is not fucking around. Look at that. I love that. Oh hell yeah. The ref ain't, like he said, the ref ain't gonna help you.
Nope.
This is the Barrera we love.
Where was this round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Yeah,
Look at that little pep in his step.
Even if it wasn't, if he conserved energy up to round 6, why not from round 7 onwards? He could have been on it like this. This is like the first fight.
Mm-hmm.
Morales like, not yet.
Oh, bit of an uppercut there on the break. That was naughty.
Someone the authoritative shots are coming from Barrera right now.
Oh,
Look at that shit. See, look, this got my juices flowing. I'm cursing a whole bunch of times.
that's what we want. Oh, boss, spoilers, man. Just about to finish. I'm going to disable chat.
Man, I gotta give it. Barrera's been landing that left hand whenever Morales leans over. He's been landing it so hard and clean. I mean, that's why his eyes closed.
Yeah.
And this is all Barrera, obviously. I mean, he's fighting like he feels he's behind or he wants it.
Yeah.
And Morales is just saying, please, please, where's the 10-second clock? The count, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you never know what the judges may have thought in those first probably 5 rounds where it seemed that Morales was in control, but some of those could have gone Barrera's way.
That's cool of the commentary to go silent while everyone's on their feet.
Yeah, just let the action speak for itself. 10 seconds left. Do the fans think they've now got the money's worth because they've had one round that was similar to the first fight?
Good stuff right there.
Well, Boz has said in the chat that this was a robbery where Morales got robbed, but, you know, I've got it even, so can't be that much of a robbery. And Boz said he had the first one a draw. Ooh.
That means he scored 10-10 round.
So before you joined us, Boz, I re-looked at my the first bout's scorecard and I had it handily to Barrera. What did I say? 7-3? 8-3?
Yeah, the first 2 fights are considered robberies. So I guess they kind of even each other out.
Well, let's see what the scores were.
Oh, wow. El Norte. El Tigres de Norte.
I'm just going to forward things on a bit.
Come on. Let's get to it.
You won't get any of this waiting if they use Fight Night scores. Boom, instant. No need for adding up. Getting the calculators out.
Letterman at a 7-5.
Yeah. That's right.
Featherweights in the world came into the ring, but now only one will leave as the very best. We go to the Budweiser scorecards. Chuck Champa scores the contest 116 to 112. Mike Liana and Dwayne Ford have it 115 to 113. All for the winner by unanimous decision. De Ciudad de Mexico, Marco Antonio.
All right.
Interesting. There's the UD. Surprised it wasn't split.
Yeah, a split would have made some sense.
The first one was a split.
Yeah.
I think so, boss.
All right, let's get up our final totals then. Alex had it to 112, 116 to Morales. Josh had it 115, 113 to Morales, and I had it 114 each draw. So, bit of a robbery maybe.
Draw, I guess I can see that.
Was one of them, or two of them, 116, 112? The other way?
It was 116, 112, and then 115, 113 times 2.
Oh, right, yeah. 115, 113 maybe was okay.
No.
A draw? Is that okay?
You know, judges see different things, and I don't know. Maybe they kind of clouded their judgment a bit there, probably on the back half, and gave everything to Barrera. But it looked like Morales had put in a lot of work, and it was going to be tough for Barrera to come back without a knockdown.
Well, there we go. Let's have a look at what our combined total was then. It's more reflective. 7-5 for Morales. That probably sums it up nicely. 115, 113. Yeah, we'll give the two judges a good mark for that. Right. Obviously they had the trilogy fight. No doubt we'll score that in future. And see the outcome of that. All right. I don't think we've got a full schedule for what's in future for our scoring just yet, so we won't put Alex under any pressure and to announce anything. But we will get some schedule of what the fights that we're going to watch in the coming weeks and months. So keep an eye out for that on Twitter. Is the best place to go to. Let's move things along then. That was a good fight. Not as good as the first, obviously. But let's have a look at what's coming up in the next couple of weeks before we reconvene for our next Watch and Score live stream. And we will move on to Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora. Everyone cannot wait for this one.
Oh, yeah.
Alex, give us some thoughts. It's next Saturday, the 3rd of December.
Man, for everything great, the first 6-7 months boxing gave to us, we're getting shit like this. A pointless trilogy. I believe Fury won a clear decision the first time. Stops Derek Chisora on his stool going lefty, I think, the whole fight. And vacates his belt just to go ahead and have his second trilogy. So, yeah, I expect Fury to dominate and probably be like the Dillian White fight where where he knocks him out, 5th, 6th round, wherever it was. What was it? 6th round. Okay. Yeah, complete waste of time. I'm glad that it's going to be. Is it going to be free here in the U.S.? I hope it is. I feel sorry that you guys have to pay for it. Now,
Yeah.
you know how we feel. But yeah, Tyson Fury, I'm sure he's just cooking up to, you know, just add something to his stupid checklist. And hopefully the checklist also includes Usyk and maybe Joshua.
Yeah, hopefully. We can all hope. Josh, give us some of your thoughts on this one. We don't have to spend too much time on it because I don't think anyone's really all that interested if we're completely honest. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting. We just scored Morales Barrera, which was a great trilogy, and I think we all came to love. And this is the example of a trilogy that no one was seeking. Essentially, yeah, this is kind of a stay busy fight for Tyson Fury. I feel like not too many people have been mentioning much. I didn't even realize it was coming up this weekend, probably because a lot of people don't care to see the fight in that regard. But it seems to be doing well as far as Tyson Fury was bragging about sales and the amount of people that are going to come and check it out. So I guess it's an event in that sense, but certainly one of those fights where, yeah, it's just kind of stay busy. I don't want to say full money grab, but I guess it could be argued as such, because that's what Chisora himself had stated he was looking for. Just one last fight to get a big payday. And hey, Eddie Hearn, I guess, granted those wishes in some sense, or at least maybe Frank Warren actually. So
Yeah,
so
and
yeah,
I think they're quite friendly as well, Fury and Chisora. So it's kind of a bit of a doing a favor for a mate.
yeah. So it's yeah, just one of those interesting things. So but I'm not looking too much into it. I'll probably check it out, but the expectation is that Tyson Fury is going to win, and hopefully we see him in there with a live body outside of Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, I go with that. I think Fury's going to win, probably a stoppage inside the first half of the fight. That'd be my pick. How do you think he's going to win? Josh, was that a...
I mean, if he wants to keep the momentum going, Chisora can be stopped. Maybe Tyson Fury finally stops him in this fight. If not, of course, I mean, yeah, it would be sort of a letdown. So I'm going to say Tyson Fury via some form of stoppage, because I think that Chisora is kind of prime and right for that right now, given all the wars that he's been in.
Yeah. And Alex, what about you? What was the prediction? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I said like Dillian White, so like a mid-round stop.
Okay, yeah.
Let's say round. I'll go round 7 instead of 6. Like he stopped White. I think he wants to keep it going a little longer.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, a quick mention on the undercard is Daniel Dubois against Kevin Lerines, the South African, who has a loss somewhere.
From a cruiserweight.
Okay. Not really fought anywhere outside of South Africa and Germany by the looks of it, and somewhere else there, Baku. So I guess this is kind of a stay busy one for Dubois. Should be expected to win. And he'll defend his WBA World Heavyweight title that he beat Trevor Bryan for last time out.
Triple D
indeed. Are you both expecting a Dubois win there?
Yeah, I would definitely think so. So probably by knockout. Lorena's a smaller man moving up. I mean, only one loss, but like you said, the competition he's faced and where they're trying to push Dubois, I think just everything points to that.
Yeah, I like Dubois, and I've been following him for a while, and I just think boxing is interesting. It's crazy and doesn't make sense at times. The fact that Dubois has a title, I think, is just so baffling. That being said, of course, he's going to win this fight, probably a stoppage. And I want to see him in there with someone who's really going to test him. But the fact that he is a WBA World Heavyweight Champion says a lot about the state of things when it comes to these sanctioning bodies.
Yeah, we touched on that last week. We won't go there again. Right, let's move things along. That's not too interesting, that card, to be honest, all round. But that same night, this one is interesting, thankfully. We've got Juan Francisco Estrada versus Roman Gonzalez Chocolatito. It's their fourth fight, is it? I believe
Third.
fight. Sorry, first one was like 10 years ago. Yeah, this is good. Really good fight. I think they fought last year, didn't they? Like a fight of the year candidate.
Controversial.
Controversial,
it
yeah.
was.
Go on, Josh. Give us your insight and thoughts on this one. Who's going to win? Make a prediction. Give us your thoughts.
Excited about this one. I think it's one of those great trilogies we've gotten over the last several years, or at least it will go down as one of those. Both of these guys still have a lot left in the tank. Many people had written off Chocolatito once he took those losses to Sorang Visai, but that allowed him to step back for a little bit, and he came back renewed and fresh. It seems, and I think that he's going to make it a fight once again. In their previous matchup, I felt that Chocolatito gained the slight edge, and I know it could have went in any way, and ultimately it did go in the favor of Estrada. So I won't say it was a robbery or anything. I just thought it was a close fight, and these two match up well, a lot like some of the others in some of the great trilogies we've seen, with Morales Barrera being one, Pacquiao Marquez. It's just stylistically they match up very well. Chocolatito is going to be coming forward offensively, throwing a lot of punches. Estrada, he's gonna box, probably move a little bit, work behind that jab. That being said, he's not scared to get into a firefight himself, so it'll make for an interesting contest. And I think this third is probably going to be just as good as just as good as the other two that they've had. And hopefully this leads to some other big fights being made involving these two in or around that weight, because there's a crop of young guys who are out there who could make it very interesting for them as well. But certainly a good fight, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to deliver probably from top to bottom on the card in itself.
Did you make a pick there? Prediction?
Oh, well, yeah, I didn't make a pick.
You're trying to get away with that. That's not happening. Come on.
Interesting. You know what? Man, it's a tough one right there. I probably lean in this one. I probably lean Estrada, slight edge, split decision. Estrada. I think that
He's
he
gone
might be
specifically
a little
split.
a little bit fresher. We'll see though.
Okay, Alex, you follow that.
You want to bet? I got Roman Gonzalez, man.
All right, cool.
The second fight was exciting. I felt like Chocolatito showed that he was a bit better, and I felt it was unfortunate that the judges didn't see that because Chocolatito, like you said, since Sarunga side, finished him, we thought he was finished, and he came back, storming back, and I feel like he should be undefeated, and I think he's in better form. He beat a better fighter and looked better when he fought Julio Cesar Martinez. Estrada fought, I forgot the gentleman he fought, but no one expected that to be tough. And it was a tough fight for Estrada. He really had to squeeze that one out. So, I think everything points to Chocolatito being the better fighter at this time, and as well as in the career. And he should be 2-0 and moving on to 3-0. And I got Chocolatito with a clear unanimous decision, and hopefully moving on to face Ioka versus Franco winner, which is supposed to take place on New Year's Eve. So, yeah, man, 115. That 108 to 115 is really starting to heat up. We're starting to see a lot more fights on TV, starting to get to know a lot more of the fighters. And it's good. The better quality fights we can get for boxing, the better for the sport and for us fans. So hopefully we keep moving towards that. And, can't wait December 3rd.
Sweet. All right, my prediction then. Oh man, I want to say a draw, but
that would tie us up.
But that ties us all up. No, I think honestly I could see a draw happening, but I'm gonna edge just slightly on the side of Alex there. I'm gonna go with Chocolatito. I just think he's got good momentum, hasn't he? He's had a couple of good wins, and I think even though he's getting on a bit, he's 35 years old. I think Estrada's only a couple of years younger. But I think he's got that edge, I think, in terms of being a better boxer all round. And I just think momentum's on his side, and I think he's going to win this time.
I think it's funny how it's for the vacant WC belt, which Estrada won off Chocolatito. Then Estrada was moved to franchise for some fucking reason, and then Franco's brother Bam fights it against Quadras for the vacant belt, defends it a couple times, throws that shit away, moves down, and now we're right back to Estrada Gonzalez.
Wow.
Yeah, WBC is basically like a trophy company. They create these different trophies and just hand them out.
And they get the fees along the way. Don't forget about that.
Most importantly.
The most important thing. Anything on that undercard there you want to touch on, or shall we just move swiftly along, boys?
Let's move on.
Let's move
Yeah.
on. Go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna say Julio Cesar Martinez. I see that he's making his return to the ring. Gonna be interesting because he fought Chocolatito and lost in definitive fashion, and he came in overweight even though he was moving up.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how he's going to look here. I'm interested because he's someone that is thrown out there with Sonny Edwards. That's who he says he wants next. That would make for probably an interesting fight. So I don't know his opponent, but we'll see what Julio Cesar Martinez can do now and see if he's going to make that weight comfortable.
Okay.
Title defense, 8-0 from España.
Spanish lad fought in Spain and Russia before, so we'll see.
Yeah,
okay.
A big fight for him at 8-0.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fair play to. Let's move on. The weekend after then, Saturday, December the 10th. Josh Warrington over here is in against Luis Alberto Lopez for IBF featherweight title.
Mm-hmm.
Not too familiar with this guy, if I'm honest. Have any of you boys seen him? Alex, give us a quick.
Oh man, he made me so happy when he beat the shit out of Gabriel Flores Jr. I'm not a fan of Gabriel Flores Jr.
Okay.
But yeah, man, this guy
got a few
he
names
can fight.
in there.
He is not. He may give him Josh Warrington El Bronco vibes. So
okay.
So yeah, I'm tuning in. I don't think Warrington is all that great. I think he's always in shape. I know he's a tough dude. I know he's beloved out there in Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm picking Lopez for the upset. I think it could be tight in the beginning, but Lopez, like I said, I've seen him bite down. Be the underdog, beat the favorite, be in an uncomfortable position and come out on top. So yeah, I expect this win for Lopez, and he'll move on. And what is this, at 126? So maybe it'll be him and El Bronco, since Warrington obviously doesn't want that smoke again.
Interesting. All right, it would be quite interesting to see the betting odds on that one. I imagine Warrington will be a favorite.
Well, in American terms, because I know you guys deal in fractions.
Yep.
But over here, it's pretty tight. We got 190 Josh Warrington the favorite, plus 150 Lopez, so that's pretty tight.
Okay. Josh, you got some thoughts on this one? Are you in agreement there with Alex?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Alex on this one. Lopez, he's already traveled to enemy territory to upset the apple cart before when he took on Isaac Lowe. I remember seeing that. Of course, Isaac Lowe was headlining. He had Tyson Fury in his corner. All of the British fans were in his corner, but Lopez didn't let that deter him at all, and he brought it to Isaac Lowe. So I think we might see something similar to that, because in the case of Lopez, you're probably going to need some true pop to really slow him down, and Josh Warrington isn't a big puncher per se, so it should be a quality fight for as long as it lasts, but I can definitely see Lopez taking the edge here. And as Alex mentioned, him taking on Mauricio Lara, that would be a barn burner right there for sure.
Yeah. Interesting then. It rings a bell now with beating Isaac Lowe last year, who was on a bit of a high. So yeah, maybe Josh Warrington is in for a bit more trouble from another Mexican again. On the card, there's a female fight, Ebony Bridges and Shannon O'Connor.
Wait, did you make a pick? Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Oh, you boys have swayed me. I'm going to go Lopez.
All right.
I'm getting on it.
I just wanted to hear it. Make sure.
Yeah, I've caved into the pressure. I'm actually gonna have a bet on that as well if he's the underdog. So I like myself an underdog bet.
Yeah.
Didn't quite pan out last night, although I got half of it right with Ryder, luckily. Anyway, let's move on. Terence Crawford, David Avanesian. I quite like this fight. I know it got quite a bit of stick, Crawford, obviously, because the Spence fight didn't happen. But David Avanesian, he's bought over in the UK quite a few times. Decent fighter from Russia. Is 29-3 with one knockout loss. He's got losses against Lamont Peterson, way down the second fight he ever had, and then Kavaliskas. I can't say that name. Butchered it. But he's on a good run. He beat undefeated Kerman Larahaga, Spanish lad. He was half decent. Beat him twice in a row. He upset Josh Kelly last year. He was kind of highly touted in the UK. So he's on a good run, and I think he probably does deserve a bit of a shot. He has been one that some of the up-and-coming UK lads kind of avoid, I guess. So you expect Terence Crawford to get another victory, and hopefully we see him in against Spencer next year. Alex, go ahead, give us your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I don't think Avanesian is a bad fighter, but he's not a fighter that is going to give Terence Crawford any issues besides maybe that right hand. We've seen it. Man, the Josh Kelly win feels like so long ago. I feel it felt like Josh Kelly was gone for years, and it's just like, I think Josh Kelly's on his like his second or third comeback fight. I think Avanesian's. It would have been more appropriate him to face like a Virgil Ortiz, a Jerome Boots, maybe even like a Stanionis. Like to me, he hasn't done anything to warrant a matchup against a Crawford or a Spence. So to me, this is kind of shit. I'm not gonna pay for it. I don't really care. So I'll just go Terence Crawford by round 6 stoppage.
Okay. Josh, go on, give us your thoughts on that one prediction.
Yeah, I think Terence Crawford is going to win. Now, I do like David Avanesian. I think that he's been in top form, as mentioned, and hey, some other guys weren't giving him opportunities. So, hey, it's pretty cool that he's going to get a shot at arguably the best boxer in the world. And, of course, we all want to see Crawford versus Spence. So once we actually get that matchup, or if we actually get that matchup, I think that will satisfy the many fans who are going to be dogging this fight. Now, some of them don't know Avanesian. They're only seeing a name probably that they can't pronounce, and so they're going to automatically assume he's some bum or something, because I've seen some craziness thrown around out there. But Avanesian, he's no slouch. But certainly Terence Crawford should beat him because he's considered to be one of, if not the best in the world. And I think Avanesian probably will make it a fight there early, but I could see Terence Crawford starting to kind of break him down and pick him off as he previously has with other opponents. And yeah, I could see a stoppage potentially somewhere later in the fight for Terence Crawford. So not a bad fight, but certainly one that, I don't know that people want to pay a hefty price for, and I don't know what the price is or whatever it's going to be. I know that it's going to be on this BLK Prime, which is some kind of streaming service. So, as a matter of fact, I think I did look at it. It might be around $39 or something.
$40, yeah, $39.95.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, it's one of those that you're like a true boxing head maybe is going to pay for it, but certainly I think that, and we can be considered that, but certainly I think that some will find other ways to watch it. But power to them. Hopefully BLK Prime can secure some real estate here in this boxing world.
Cool. All right, I'll go with my prediction as well. I have a late stoppage for Crawford. Yeah, maybe round 8 onwards or so, 8 to 10, something like that. Probably a good shout. And we'll move swiftly on. I know Josh needs to get off for his live stream soon. So the last one we will cover is Teofimo Lopez versus Sandor Martin. That is also the 10th of December. Nothing on the undercard according to BoxRec at the moment. Always late to the party. But I'm expecting Teofimo Lopez to get this job done. Sandor Martin had a good win, obviously, against Mikey Garcia to get the title. I'm not sure if this is the same title that he won. Oh, there wasn't a title. He just beat Mikey Garcia. Okay, but that was
expected to be sort of like a little bounce back showcase fight for Garcia.
For Garcia. Yeah. So it was a good win for him. But yeah, expect Teofimo Lopez just to get that job done. Joshua, go on, give us your thoughts on this one quickly.
Yeah, Teofimo Lopez should win this fight. I mean, he has had a lot of fanfare, and he has shown that when he's on top of his game, he can be one of the best in the world. Sandor Martin, he's a guy, he's got a big record, I guess, by today's standard, though not really a lot of huge names there. And Mikey Garcia was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door to be realistic when he actually fought him. So I think Sandor Martin, he's been able to get to this world level, I guess you can say, but certainly nothing about him that would make me think that he is going to be a real player there as far as world titles are concerned. So I expect Teofimo Lopez to probably outbox him. It may go. I'm going to say it's a decision for Teofimo Lopez, but probably a clear one.
Okay, Alex, your thoughts and prediction?
Yeah, I think, originally it was Pedraza supposed to be in there. But most people agree this is probably a better matchup because Pedraza's taken a couple of L's at 140 against Cepeda and Ramirez. Even though he's a good fighter, if we're trying to build, if Top Rank is trying to build Teofimo to be this future 140 champion, especially being a former unified champion at 135, is seen as the man, then Pedraza probably isn't the right dance partner. And Sandor Martin is more appropriate coming off of that big win off of Mikey Garcia. He's a lefty. He seems to be a little bit tricky, and it's going to be something that we haven't seen Teofimo against. So, yeah, it's intriguing. The betting odds, however, make it seem Teofimo to be a big favorite. We have him as a minus 800 favorite, so 1-8.
Yeah.
And Sandor being like a 5-1 underdog. So I expect it to be a lot closer. I think Teofimo is going to have issues, but I think he's just, probably too fast, too strong, too explosive for Sandor to be able to win more than 5 rounds. So, yeah, give me Teofimo by decision.
Okay.
And I think it's interesting because this is supposed to be, I mentioned earlier, a final eliminator, but I also read that it's going 10 rounds. So that doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, the undercard, don't worry, I have searched it up. You got Keyshawn Davis against Juan Carlos Burgos. Burgos is a former 130, 126 pounder that fights at 135. And then Xander Zayas, who Puerto Rican, one of the best prospects in boxing.
Yeah.
Final gentleman, Alexis Salazar, which Alexis Salazar's both common names. And then the fight I'm most excited about on this card is Jared Anderson, our heavyweight sensation, facing
Big
Jerry Forrest. So, it's a great card. A lot of good names and pretty good matchups. I had to look into Alexis Salazar, but I know everybody else. So, this is definitely a lot better than that bullshit $40 for Terrence Crawford versus Avenetian. And, don't forget, on that undercard, you got Chris Cyborg. So, whoa, explosion. Yeah, man. It's going to be, looking forward to these next 2 weeks. And I think we're going to have some really good recaps on what's going to happen for these fights. So make sure you tune in 2 weeks. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video as well.
Exactly that. Thank you very much, Alex. So yeah, that brings us to the end of this stream for this week. Thanks for stopping by. Those of you who have partaken and have been in the chat as well, it's great to have you on board. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We will announce some of the fights that we're going to be covering in the next couple of weeks and months. For those of you that are still around, head on over to 86 Boxing for Josh and Buzz's weekly roundup of the boxing events for this weekend. They're going to get started literally in a minute. So we are out of here. As Alex said, please hit like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this, and we will see you again hopefully in a couple of weeks' time. Take care, everyone.
USA, baby.